Hello there, good people. This is Mislav on the other side of the screen, and today I am going to talk to you about pipelines. Now, what are pipelines? Well, basically, we are going to talk about how to become a plumber. Okay, I'm kidding. We're not going to talk about how to become a plumber. We are going to talk about pipelines. And the best thing about this joke is that I have actually written it on my written copy, as I'm looking at my phone to kind of interactively read and to reference everything that I want to reference in this video. I actually just read that joke out loud, and if you chuckled, I appreciate it. If you didn't chuckle, well, that's because I am not really originally humoristic, but I, at least in this instance, have read a joke. Okay, but let's get back to the point of the tutorial. So what are pipelines? Pipelines are a way to redirect one command's standard output to the other command's standard input. Essentially, you are chaining commands here. And let's use an example of pipelines. So let's say that I wanted to list the contents of my directory and I wanted to see all of the files that began with the letter A. Okay, how would I do that? Well, I could type in ls, press enter, and then just look for it myself. Like I could be like, okay, this begins with an A, this begins with an A, this begins with an A, etc. However, a much better way to do it would be to write ls, then I press space, then I would make this vertical bar right here, and then I would press space again, and I would actually do the following. I would write grep A, and then I would press enter. And now I get everything which contains the letter A. Now, I'm not sure if on the beginning I said everything that begins with the letter A, that would be a different thing, but I am actually trying to get everything that contains the letter A, because remember, if I'm just looking for a letter A, it doesn't matter if it's in the beginning or anywhere else, I'm going to get I'm going to get the results no matter where this A lies. Okay, for the A to be in the beginning, we have to write something else. Okay, so anyway, if you wanted to do that, that's how you would do it. Okay, and basically the thing I want you to notice is that this thing right here, this vertical bar, is actually the way you introduce pipelines. Okay, so basically pipelines are a way for you to, again, repeat myself, redirect one command's standard output. So we are redirecting the output of ls to the standard input of grep. Okay, so so ls command, instead of outputting it on the screen, is actually redirecting its standard output to the standard input of grep. Okay, so it's like chain, right? It's like a chain. Here we redirect the output to this command's input, and then it takes that input and provides us with the output on the screen. Okay, now obviously what we could do is we could, for example, combine this with input-output redirection, and we could, for example, say to store the result of this pipeline in some file. Let's call it file2.txt, because we have some file here, and press enter. And then if I just opened up my file2.txt, I would have the exact same result. Okay, so we can combine these. I just wanted to sort of emphasize it because maybe you're thinking, can I combine input-output redirection with pipelines? Basically, all of these concepts, you can combine these at will. Okay, so you can combine these however you want, pretty much. Okay, unless explicitly stated that you can't. And or maybe you can try it, you get an error, and you can Google the error, and the answers on Stack Overflow or Stack Exchange Unix will tell you if something is not possible. Basically, that's a very good way to approach testing if something works. Test it. If it doesn't work, Google why it didn't work, and you'll get your answer. Okay. And basically, the thing I just want to say before we end this Linux tutorial is that pipelines can be arbitrarily long. Okay, so maybe you heard about pipelines before and you thought, wow, that's some really cool thing or whatever. Well, it is actually pretty cool. To be honest with you, I have used pipelines quite a bit especially as a software engineer professionally, but also in my everyday use. So pipelines, I use pipelines much more than input-output redirection. And so it is very important to understand how they work. And again, it all relies on the notion of input and output, okay? And that input and output don't necessarily have to be keyboard and the screen. They can be different things. And that input of one command can be output from another. That is, that the output of the ls can be the input to the grep command. Okay, so here you can see that the conceptual knowledge that we have uh, established at the beginning of this segment of the course actually helped us better understand what is going on. Okay, so theory matters, and I'm just going to introduce the theory that matters, and all of the other stuff I kind of try to call out. Okay, so thank you for watching. I hope you'll watch me in the next tutorial. And again, tell everybody you know about this course if they're interested. Even if they're not interested, tell them, hey, there's this amazing guy who has pre-scripted jokes on his phone, and he reads them for every tutorial, and they will most likely want to watch this video, because who wouldn't? And yeah, that's pretty much it. Subscribe, and talk to you in the next tutorial.